Consumer or retail inflation is also at the highest in 6 months and above the RBI's comfort zone of 6%. Inflation inching towards a tough choice for the RBI as well, and this captured in this next report.
Household and business budgets are being stretched all over India, with many cutting back to be able to afford essentials. Consumer or retail inflation is the highest in 6 months and above the RBI's comfort zone of 6%. But now, in its latest report, the central bank has projected inflation will worsen before it gets any better. RBI's projection for this year's consumer price inflation is, for first quarter, it could be 5.2%, for second quarter, it could be 5.4%, for third quarter, it could be 4.7%, and for fourth quarter, it could be 5.3%. Pre-pandemic, most would have bet on a rise in interest rates to control inflation. But with the GDP contracting sharply and job losses rising, there's pressure to keep rates low to spur growth. The risks are several. Rising international fuel prices and commodity prices thanks to the rebounding economies of the West and domestic concerns about a third wave. The bank, citing a finance ministry calculation, says to achieve herd immunity and regain the momentum of economic recovery, 70 crore of the population should be targeted by as early as September 2021. But for that, the daily doses have to be more than 93 lakh a day, 3 times more than the current 30 to 31 lakh. The central bank will have to now do a tight balancing act between growth and inflation. India's biggest bank, the Government of India, needs to step in a big way. If the RBI has to ultimately raise interest rates, change its stance to combat inflation, it may impact any incipient signs of recovery. On the other hand, being a mute spectator can seriously impair RBI's credibility in fighting inflation. We expect a status quo in August, when the RBI is scheduled to meet on interest rates. Given the rising inflation, even capital markets do not expect RBI to change interest rates to spur growth.
As far as monetary policy is concerned, RBI has to keep tweaking the rate so that the impetus is given to the growth. At the same time, RBI has to keep in mind and keep an eye on inflation. When the inflation goes out of hand, then obviously they have to raise the rate. But here we are in very tricky situation.
Experts believe that in the coming months, the crude oil prices and commodity prices are expected to go up, further pushing the inflation, which will be a tough task for RBI to set its direction for the next monetary policy. In Mumbai with camera person Ashok Mahadik, this is Purva Chitnas for NDTV.